Hi, my name is Ken Davide, and welcome to Organization Theory in Space Season 2. In this season, each video is going to cover a single chapter in the Oxford Handbook of Organizational Change and Innovation, second edition, edited by Marshall Scott Poole and Andy Van de Ven. This video covers Chapter 5 of the handbook, entitled Organizational Identity and Culture Change. In this chapter, we'll talk about many different aspects of this topic, including past theories of cultural change, organizational theories of cultural change, organizational identity theory, extended theory of identity dynamics, how to implement culture change, and the darker side of culture change. There are three past perspectives of culture change, including evolutionary culture change, where ongoing changes are driven by technology or environmental adaptation; culture change from outside, where there's a diffusion of ideas from one culture or other external influence into another culture; and then culture change from within, where changes are based on internal dynamics, such as from charismatic leadership. These theories were adapted by organizational theorists to develop theories of organizational culture change. The resulting OT theories reflect combinations of all four models of the change motors that we talked about in Chapter 1. This chapter focuses on three types of teleologic change based on organizational identity. First, there's a parent culture change, where organizational culture changes to maintain organizational stability. The second is cultural incrementalism, where organizational culture supports change in order to survive. And the third is referred to as cultural revolution, which is the counterpoint to cultural incrementalism, where culture change is resisted in order to survive. The close relationship between culture and identity are embodied in a theory of organizational identity. And this theory is based on the premise that identity is a collective self-definition of how organizational actors develop, express, and project their organizational sense of self towards others. Identity involves continuous comparison with others and introspective self-reflection, resulting in a set of claims and beliefs about its own attributes that it sees as central, distinctive, and enduring through time. An organization's identity also defines its membership into a particular market category. There are two major streams of organizational identity theory. The first, referred to as identity as attributions, is based in organizational behavior and asserts that an organization's identity includes stable features that are central to its character and distinctiveness. The other, based in organizational sociology, is called identity as categories, and asserts that an organization's identity includes claims to categorical memberships to establish similarity and difference with other organizations in that and other categories. The chapter goes on to extend the original theory of identity dynamics, which included the mirroring and reflecting relationships between identity and culture and identity and image, to include aspects of temporality and agency. The extended theory describes how elements of the distant and recent past can be employed to affect current attempts to shape the organization's strategy and vision in the near and distant futures. From the teleologic perspective, the three types of teleologic change based on organizational identity result in three different pathways to implement cultural change in an organization. These include identity-legitimated culture change, which uses statements of important identity attributes to address important strategic issues. Then there's image-triggered culture change, which uses aspects of identity that may be undesirable or shameful to induce change. And then finally, there's identity-driven culture change, which uses novel cultural identity claims to stabilize new behaviors to meet strategic goals. Finally, we close with a brief discussion about the darker side of organizational culture change, those cases in which organizations exploit cultural elements for social control, directing and motivating the commitment by individuals in the organization through strong forces of socialization that can lead to groupthink. An example of this phenomenon given in the book comes from the space sector and the tragedy of the Challenger accident that happened on January 28th, 1986. The chapter closes with a reminder that to the reader that is an exploration of organizational culture change through the lens of the teleologic change motor. There's a lot of work that's yet to be done through the lens of the other three motors: the life cycle, the dialectical, and the evolutionary change motors. So that's it for Chapter 5 of the Oxford Handbook of Organizational Change and Innovation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you consider subscribing so that you can receive notifications of future videos as they are released. Bye. OT in Space was produced by IRL, which stands for Impossible Research LLC. IRL conducts process research on the topics of innovation and industry emergence within the space sector context. IRL also offers services of organization theory consulting, research consulting, and STEAM outreach. This video is intended for educational purposes only.